Why do apocalyptic survival games thrill us? It's not just adrenaline, it's our brain's fight-or-flight response, triggered by perceived danger. This primal instinct, backed by studies on stress and survival, makes chaos feel exciting. Games like Sitting Ducks let players test teamwork and strategy in high-stakes scenarios, tapping into our need to overcome challenges together. Survival games like Sitting Ducks thrive on teamwork under pressure. When the world feels unstable, our brains release oxytocin, a chemical linked to trust and cooperation, making collaboration feel rewarding. These games mirror real-life challenges in a controlled way, satisfying our need for connection and problem-solving under stress. When you play Sitting Ducks, your body reacts like it's facing real danger, heart racing, adrenaline surging. Game designers use this to create controlled chaos, making stress feel thrilling yet safe. Unlike real-life stress, games let you experience cortisol spikes and panic responses without real consequences. It's about how tension builds and releases, keeping players engaged in a mix of excitement and strategy. Survival games like Sitting Ducks train quick thinking and teamwork under pressure, mirroring real emergencies. Players adapt to threats, manage limited resources, and make tough decisions, skills that could help in crises. However, these games aren't a substitute for professional survival training. While they sharpen problem-solving, real-world scenarios require specialized knowledge and context. Music in survival games isn't just background noise, it's a psychological weapon. A sudden silence can signal danger, while eerie, slow beats make the world feel more tense. It tricks our brains into thinking we're in real peril, heightening our focus. But why does that work? Our brains are wired to respond to sound, so game designers use it to create an immersive experience. It's not just about scaring us, it's about making survival feel real and urgent. When we dive into survival games like Sitting Ducks, our brains treat the chaos as if it's real. Heart rates spike, adrenaline pumps, and we're on edge, just like in a real emergency. But here's the question. Are these games just thrilling fantasy, or do they actually prepare us for the unexpected? Games force us to think fast, adapt under pressure, and work with others. That's not just about zombies, it's about real-life problem-solving. So while the stakes feel high in a game, the skills we learn could translate to real-world challenges if we ever face them. It's a fine line between escapism and training, one that makes these games so compelling. When survival games like Sitting Ducks blur the line between fantasy and reality, it's easy to get lost in the thrill of chaos. But is that excitement healthy, or does it cross into something darker? Our brains are wired to respond to stress, and these games mimic real danger, spiking adrenaline, testing reactions and forcing quick thinking. Yet, when the stakes feel too high, even in a game, it can start to feel like more than just escapism. It's a fine line between training our minds for emergencies and letting them imagine worst-case scenarios. The question is, where do we draw that line? When we watch others play survival games like Sitting Ducks, it's not just about the chaos, it's about the emotional rush. Our brains react to the tension, the quick decisions, and the teamwork as if we're part of the action. It's a controlled way to experience adrenaline without real danger. But why does that feel so satisfying? Survival games mirror our instincts, fear, cooperation, and problem-solving. They're not just entertainment, they're a psychological workout. But when the stakes feel too high, even in a game, it blurs the line between fantasy and reality. That's the hook why we can't look away. Survival games have come a long way from the early days of pixelated apocalypses. Back then, it was all about avoiding robots and solving puzzles in I have no mouth and I must scream. Today, games like Sitting Ducks take us deeper into the chaos, blending strategy with real-time threats. This evolution mirrors our own fears and adaptability, pushing us to think faster and work smarter under pressure. It's not just about surviving zombies, it's about preparing for any kind of crisis that life might throw at us. Why do we obsess over apocalyptic survival games? Is it just about the chaos, or is there something deeper about our brains that makes these scenarios so captivating? When survival games like Sitting Ducks blur the line between fantasy and reality, it's easy to get lost in the thrill of chaos. But is that excitement healthy, or does it cross into something darker? Our brains are wired to respond to stress, and these games mimic real danger, spiking adrenaline, testing reactions, and forcing quick thinking. Yet, when the stakes feel too high, even in a game, it can start to feel like more than just escapism. It's a fine line between training our minds for emergencies and letting them imagine worst-case scenarios. The question is, where do we draw that line? Let's break down the psychology behind these games, why they resonate with us, and what they reveal about human behavior. Survival games like Sitting Ducks aren't just about chaos, they're a way to test our instincts and emotions in a safe space. When we play, our brains react to threats, teamwork, and quick decisions as if they were real. This mirror of reality helps us prepare for life's uncertainties. But when the game blurs fantasy and truth, it becomes more than just entertainment. It challenges how we think about resilience and adaptability. So why does this captivate us? Because deep down, we all want to know, can we handle the worst life throws at us? Let's explore what these games reveal about human behavior and teamwork. There's something primal about watching a group of friends scramble through an apocalypse in Sitting Ducks. It's not just the adrenaline rush or the chaos, but the way it mirrors our own instincts. When you're playing, your brain treats imaginary threats like real ones, spiking heart rate, sharpening focus, and testing teamwork. But here's the twist. These games don't just entertain us. They prepare us. They simulate crises that feel far-fetched, but could happen tomorrow. So why do we love it? Because deep down, we all want to know if we'd survive, or worse, if we'd thrive in chaos. What's